are going to be talking a little bit about BPRO, giving a walkthrough to what we believe to be at least what we have used and what you use as the best strategies for BPRO. I'll also be going through how to do a backtest using BPRO, just the BPRO data that you have on your TradingView chart, and yeah, let's get through it. So basically, one of the most efficient ways to use BPRO is to use the trailer, because the trailer is a trend following metric. It is based on ATR, based on moving averages, but a bunch of indicators put together to try and determine the best way the trend as possible. As you can see, in the past, BPRO has been very good at tracking the trend. So you can see that the trailer, I'm going to just clean the indicator so that we can see just the trailer. Let me just take everything out. Take everything so it is easier to see. So, right. So this is the trailer, right? If price is below the trailer, it is considered as bearish. If price is above the trailer, it is considered bullish. So with the basic configurations of BPRO, you get this trend analysis. You get a few fake outs here on the way up. You basically left the trend, if you were following these metrics, of course, you left the trend back in May 2021, you returned on July 2021, you left on September, got back out at early October, and you left the market at 16th of November, right? And you've avoided most of this chop. You can change the metrics inside BPRO, the inputs, everything to give you faster or slower configurations, but that's up to your criteria. What we'll be testing today will be just the regular configurations. And yeah, let's test it. So if you take the data from your TradingView app, you go here and you put export chart data, and you export the data to a CSV file using any time frame that you want. I'm going to start with the 1 daily time frame, and you take that data and you export, and it goes to your inbox, your download inbox, right? I've already prepared here a file, an Excel file with the data, with the dates. I formatted the dates because the time comes when you export from TradingView, the time comes in a timestamp format. So you need to convert that timestamp into date UTC, the date UTC or whatever time zone that you prefer. So to backtest the trailer, you basically have to create a column that says, that has the open triggers. So a buy trigger. A buy trigger for me is, let's keep it simple, if the close is above the previous day trailer. All right. So if you have a close here, like this day here, if we have a close above the previous trailer, why do you use the previous trailer? Because you don't want to be risking, you don't want to be doing an look ahead bias. In this case, the trailer is based on the close, but it's always good practice to use the indicator of the past day, because if you are using the current indicator, it might change at the end of the day and you might get into issues. So using the data from the previous day is always useful and standard practice.
Pedro,
Yeah, sure,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question. I have a question there for you. Um, the trailer always change with the daily closure above or below the trailer, or does it have some other type of metrics that takes into consideration?
So if it closes when okay, so when the bar closes above the trailer, it changes to a positive trailer. But there's um let me see if I can find an example here, a quick example. Mm. I can find an example, but generally, there is a close above the trailer, the trend switches to a bullish regime, the trailer, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah, totally.
So if the close is above the trailer, you get a trigger, and let's get our sell trigger. Our sell trigger will be when the close closes below the trailer, the previous bar trailer, using the same methodology. You get a sell trigger. So we're gonna get now the open price of the trades that you got. So if you have a buy trigger, so if it will close on, you get an entry trigger, and the entry trigger will be the closing price. If not, you keep it at 0, so we can control. The selling price, you have to be more careful when testing in Excel, because you need to know when was the opening price. So I'll explain why. Because in Excel, if you say that this is a sell trigger and you get out in the close, you are not, you need to find the earliest trigger after you got in. So you want, we'll add here a helper column. We'll get here a first exit after entry, and you get a minimum price, minimum a minimum time after current time. So after the entry, what is the first time after the entry that you got a sell trigger? You get here a date, right? This date. So now you can find if there is no open trigger, if equals to 0, then 0. If not, find me the close. Find me the close with a mean ifs. Find me the close of our first exit after the entry. And we get here the exit prices. All right, so I didn't add here a configuration. This is basically telling us every time that the closing price is above the trigger, is above the trailer, the BPRO trailer, we just need the first trigger. So we need the opposite. If and if the close was below that same trigger, because we don't want to get every trigger on the every time that the I'll explain it better when I get there. Let me just get the gain loss percentage. So the gain loss percentage. All right. And we want the cumulative gain loss percentage. This is just one way that you can test easily the BPRO and any other indicator outside of TradingView, so that you can code it. Now you have the cumulative percentage, and you can do a chart here. All right. With the returns of this strategy, if you followed it since 2017. Let me just get so we can better visualize it. Right.
So just to be clear, you are right now testing the Beeper trailer, right? On
Exactly.
your
The the standard metrics of the BPRO trailer. And yeah, this was just a way, because I see a lot of people talking about how to test it in Excel, and um, it's just this. You just take the data, you get the current time frame data, and you do this analysis. And for the standard, you didn't have to do any configurations. You get this equity curve since 2017. There is no risk metrics here. It is completely just buy full size at the entry, sell full size at the exit, and you still get a positive equity curve. There's a lot of work that you can do here. This is just to show what can be achieved, basically.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing because, well, you're an algorithmic trader, and I that it's insane what you have done right now in like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. That it will take me, because I'm a more like a technical analysis, and I go through like back testing manually. It's insane what you have done literally in 5 minutes to actually know the results of the tools that you are using, which is, in my opinion, extremely important for traders to know, because normally we add indicators to our charts and we don't even understand how they work and what's the win rate of those indicators, right?
Exactly. And if you can test it, if you can test it even in a basic sense, you can get a better sense of the indicator itself. You no longer have to randomly. Uh, doesn't mean it is random, but you get an idea of the performance of your indicator, right? Um, it's just all a matter of testing. And I'm getting here a few metrics, simple metrics: the average gain, the average loss, the win rate, and as you can see, the win rate is pretty low. It is a trend following system, so it is normal to be pretty low. Um, and the average gain to loss, the ratio between those two, it is the big difference. So every winner is usually is on average 5 times higher than the losses, and that's where trend following shines. And yeah,
Yeah, that's something that some people would like to understand. I think maybe you can explain them more about what's the difference between mean reversion and trend following systems.
yeah, awesome. That's a great question. Let me just get here. So a trend following system using let's take the example of BPRO of what we just analyzed. So let's take the last big trade. It was on the 25. We got in on the 25th of July 2021. So let's get there. 25th of July 2021. As you can see that the trigger that we backtested is true because we got a close for the first time above the trailer, above the gray line. So it is a breakout. The trend following system is based on a breakout. You get a breakout, you get in. You assume that price will persist after your entry and that you can extract the net profit after that. And our exit will be on the 7th of September at the closing price when it closed again above the BPRO. You don't have a stop, you don't have a take profit order because this is a trend following system. You get out on a trailer, either the BPRO, either a moving average, whatever. The point is that you let yourself be in the trade as long as you can until you extract the maximum amount of the trend. And the BPRO is quite good at filtering out what is a good trend from what is not. As you can see, if you used BPRO back then, you would know that in the 16th of the November, 17th of November, you wouldn't touch this trend anymore, unless you are shorting it, of course. Um, and that is one of the big advantages of trend following is that you don't assume price, you wait for it to trigger. A mean reversion system, instead of us looking for a breakout here, let's say, if you are looking for a mean reversion system, a mean reversion system is not very good on higher time frames on the crypto market because it is very trend following, the nature of the market. So you would have to go to the lower time frames. Here you have to be very careful with the fees and slippage and all else. But a mean reversion system is basically you get an extension, whatever you define as extension, and you short that extension because you assume that price will soon revert to the mean. Whatever you classify as mean can be the BPRO, a trailer could be a mean for you, could be a moving average again, whatever. The point is that a mean reversion system, you base your entire philosophy on the idea that price usually reverts and walks around the mean. If price gets too deviated from that mean, it should revert soon, even if that reversion is very small.
I understand. Yeah, that's quite interesting. And uh, as I know, I have been studying about mean reversion and trend following systems as well. Uh, do you know, because people tend to not understand this, which is that normally trend following systems have a low win rate percentage, while mean reversion normally have higher win rate percentage, but that doesn't mean that you are going to win more following each system, right? Because it's not all about the win rate.
Exactly. And the mean reversion system normally has a higher win rate and lower risk to reward, because you are trying to catch small moves. When the market moves too much in one direction, you want to go against that direction and try to get a reversion. And usually those reversions are very small, like you see here. Even if you caught the top here, you would get very small reversions, right? So a mean reversion system usually has very high win rates because you get correct a lot. And since your targets are very small, you get those hit rates a lot higher, in the 60s, 70s, sometimes even 80% if you have a very good system. The the only caveat of that compared to a trend following system is that uh, the 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 average ratio between loss and wins are smaller. So your losses are usually going to be higher than your winners, but over time it averages out since you have a very high win rate. It's all a give and take. Yeah,
Yeah, that's insane. That's an amazing explanation of it. And yeah, please don't forget that we are throwing out special codes for discounts for you to get into the bird nest with us, for you to be able to learn all of this stuff in a daily basis. We have pets, we have an amazing team that are showing their skills and teaching you how to properly use this type of tools and many other tools. You will get 15% off with the BPRO Pro indicator with the special code below. All right.
yeah.
So, do you want to show us anything else, Pedro,
Yeah,
about?
just I want to just point out this quickly, is because a lot of people that you see on Twitter and everything, 95, 99% of 95, 98% of them are losing money at the moment. And if you this is just data. If you take the data from this indicator like we did right now, and we put on an Excel and test it on the daily time frame without any changes to the nature of the indicator, you can add a lot of things. You can add the risk management, you can add a new stop market, you can add a bunch of criteria to make it better. But without adding anything, you get a very good system to tell you when to get in to the market, when to get out, and to keep you safe. Like, for example, here, if you use on a higher time frame, back in November, you were already getting a signal to get out. Yes, you get faked out here on March, April. Everybody got faked out. And you get out here again on May, and you never got it back in again. It's a fantastic tool to like filter the market, to understand what type of regime you are on now. And many people don't have that. Many people have been holding back since 69K and trying to buy dips. If you understood trend and uh, really backtested your tools, you would understand that you shouldn't be buying dips on the way down. You should at least maximum be shorting the market, even though it is hard to short, but that's a possibility. And the BPRO is great at filtering that. Maybe Nick, perhaps do you want to add something about how did you use BPRO before, more in terms of your more in terms of how you incorporated with your own trading?
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Do you want
Let
me to
me.
stop?
Yep, I would add my screen here.
Perfect.
Go ahead. All right. So the way I use the B Pro is kind of different because I'm a intraday trader, right? I'm a swing trader, short
Yeah.
term swing trader, and I liked a lot the B Pro when I started using it because before the B Pro, what I used to do it was basically do a top down analysis starting from the weekly chart, right? Put my support and resistance lines, follow the candle structures, the market structures that are following right now. I would say like, okay, the weekly chart is showing bearishness at the moment. Sorry. If we don't reclaim this level, then it's possible for Bitcoin to keep declining. Then I go to the daily chart, see the exact same thing, kind of zoom in into the lower time frames, try to understand what the market is telling me. But eventually, when I started using the BPRO, what I realized is that I can go straight to the 1 hour chart, which is my trigger chart, my trigger time frame, and add uh, daily and or weekly, daily,
Ex-
weekly 4 hour trailers to basically do a top down analysis for me. So sorry guys, I'm kind of sick. uh, in this case, basically what I'm looking at this moment is okay, the daily trailer, which is this one over here, as you can see in the inputs, I'm having the daily trailer over here. It's bearish because, as Pedro says, when the price is below the trailer, that means that we are having bearish pressure on certain time frame. The daily is bearish, and I added another trailer for me, which is the uh, 4 hour trailer in this case. I think I'm not selecting the right one. Okay, yeah, this is the 4 hour trailer.
Okay.
So for me, it's like, okay, the daily it's bearish and the 4 hour at the moment is bullish. That what does that mean for price action? That means that we are having a pullback on an intraday time frame while still following the higher time frame trend. Okay, so what's my criteria for trends in this moment, and what's my criteria for trades in this moment is looking for longs in
Exactly.
the 1 hour time frame, right? Because I since I'm in trading, I am trading the lower time frames, I need to follow the lower time frames trader basically, but taking into consideration that if I'm going to long possibly this breakout. Okay, I'm going to long this breakout as soon as it happens when I have confirmation based on my triggers. All right, I'm not going to go against the daily trend. So my likely target would be to to the daily trader. I can't go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to put my target on, let's say, 20,000, because I know that since the higher time frame trailer is bearish, I can't go against it, right?
Exactly. And that's funny that you mention it because I've done some testing in the past against higher time frame trading against higher time frame indicators and other
Hmm.
metrics, and it is very true. If you test it, you can put it on an Excel and test that very quickly. If you try to target against a higher moving average, the closing percentage above those moving averages, for example, is very smaller than if you target below them. So now I'm remembering that test that I did and find it interesting.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear actually, because yeah, that was my logic behind, okay, what I need to follow the trend of a higher time frame chart instead of following just like my assumptions of what might happen, right? So another type of assumption that I'm going to make here is that I am only going to look for shorts as soon as Bitcoin breaks down below the 4 hour trailer, which is going to be aligned with the daily trailer, and that is going to be a full trend extension for me in order to follow price into into uh, uh, deeper prices, like I don't know, 15,000, 14,000. But for now, what I will be looking at the moment using the trailers would be to long un- until 18,000, which is signaling me right now in the daily trailer. The other tool that I normally use on the Verificator Pro are the divergences, and just as we were talking about it, like the trailers is a trend following system, while normally divergences are mean reversion system. Okay, and something that I would like to note down here is that you don't necessarily need to follow every single divergence that it appears on the chart, but rather use it as confluence on your own analysis. Because if you see a divergence here and you short, you would have been stopped out, and that doesn't mean that you needed to short over there, or you needed to short here, or needed to short here, or short here, right? Because you need to follow, in my opinion, I need to follow the overall market structure, the overall price action that is happening at the moment, You see, we have been mostly choppy choppy here, so there there's no. Oh, sorry, my Siri got activated for no reason. All right, so there's no reason for me to enter a trade here, and the main importance about how to use divergences, and I know someone on the team uses this a lot, is Jimmy, and he explained to us like, okay, you need to find important levels on price in order to be for divergences to have more confluence for you to be able to take trades on these type of signals. I don't know if you have any
Exactly.
comment about divergences, Pedro.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. But that comment, that idea that you just mentioned is about literally everything. You can't use just one thing as the main as a trigger. You can't use just a divergence, a breakout, just one thing as your filter. You need multiple filters, multiple confluences. There's an issue usually when you use too many indicators, too many tools together, because that can create a lot of problems. I usually try to keep it at 2 or 3 maximum tools in one system, because once you go above that, you are already going into fields, into problems that you don't recognize, uh, o- uh, data snooping bias, that you are fitting. That's a broader topic, but putting a bunch of indicators just to make sure that you don't have losses or something, your system will fail. It won't work. So you want to keep it as simple as possible, but also you want to keep it in a way that you have more than one a confluence of signals. So you want the majority of the trend with you. You want the market with you on your direction. You want the trigger, be it the trailer, be it the um, any trigger that you want, even other indicators outside of BPRO to give you more confluence. And then you take that trigger. If you take, and always in the direction of the market as well. So you need that filter of the market that I said before. If you are not doing trading in the direction of the market, you will have it will be much harder than you do it in the direction. You can test that very easily also on an Excel or in a simple Excel. When I say Excel, you can test it anywhere, but it is a very simple test that you can do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's something amazing that you know how to do, right? Because in my end, I will go through all the chart and say like, okay, I would short it here, I would long it here, and I start doing all of my backtesting shit, right? Which is another type of back testing, which is basically manually. But at the end, I think what I want to share with the people watching us right now is that BPRO is an amazing tool for whatever you want to do, basically, because you have a lot of tools that you can add to your charts. You don't necessarily need to use them all, but the ones that have confluence with your type of analysis. If you are a mean reversion trader, there's no like there will be no need to use any type of trailer unless you are mixing a type of mean reversion and trend following system. But if you are only a trend following trader, there would be for you no use on divergences other than try to look for earliest exits on your trades when you see a divergence on a higher time frame chart and say like, okay, I'm right in the trend, we are not having a divergence at the moment, so I'm going to take some profits because the trend might end soon, something like
Ex-
that.
exactly. Exactly, and it i- and if you take BPRO and you also test it on other markets like the S&P 500, that is usually on higher time frames. It is a very trend based market. If you test it anywhere else, you'll see that you find very good results if you are trading a trend following market. And so that adds to the confidence zone of the indicator. And sometimes we have systems that we don't even know the statistics around them. If you keep it simple, if you can test it in a basic Excel with a few formulas and it works, it is better than to have a system that has a bunch of things that you have to look at and you don't even know how to explain it well, you don't know performance, you don't know anything. I don't mean it has to be automated, but it is good to have some type of statistical base on it. You were mentioning about the way that you go do a chart analysis and you backtest manually. That is also a form of backtesting, very valid form of backtest, because that way you are looking at the market and you are taking ideas. When I'm coding a strategy, when I'm building a strategy with code, I'm not looking at I'm not looking at the market. I'm not taking ideas from the market. So it's hard sometimes for me to understand what is going on directly because I'm not seeing what's going on. I'm just coding it. For example, I code price above the moving average, price above BPRO, but I don't really know what's happening on the market. The market extended. It's a market above the average ATR. I can code all these things, but you don't generally see it. So going manually has its advantages also. A combination of two is what I do. I code systems from the beginning to the end, and then I check all the trades on the chart manually. Not all of them, but a big portion. And sometimes I take ideas from that. So I think that's also valid.
Yeah, totally, totally valid. What you can tell people, like, I would like to know your thoughts about the main difference about algorithmic trading and like manually trading, and why you shifted, because as I know a little bit about your story, you started trading like everyone else do, right?
Yeah, I shifted because I sucked at it. Trading trading manually. It's very emotional and you need a lot of self control. So b- I but I don't want to say also I've been more extreme on this before, but I don't want to say it is the best way. If for me it is it is the best way for me, but I don't want to say for everyone because even a few even this morning I was seeing some trader on Twitter that traded using the news. He was so fast, like getting the news, being the first one to get the news because he was registered on these outlets, news outlets, on Twitter, on Medium, on everything, and he would get the news first, and he would get in on the trades like instantly after the news were it. And I'm like, and he's verified, third party verified. So I'm not saying some random dudes that's sold some story. So there's a bunch of ways to do it. I prefer algorithmic because everything is defined. You don't touch it. It's trading 24/7 on a server. You don't have to waste time looking at charts, placing manual orders, everything. You don't have to be scanning the market yourself. It is totally automated, and you have time for other things. On the other hand, manual trading, it will require a lot from you. But if you are good, if you are like a great at controlling everything about you, you can do good there. You just need, but you still need the statistical edge. I'm not saying that um, i- manual trading is like just going to the markets and see what's up and placing some orders. I don't think that works. I never seen it work. Never, not once. The best traders I know have a statistical edge, whatever that edge is, always. Um, so the point is either if you do it manually, if you do it automated, regardless, you need a statistical edge. There's no best way. That's just your way, and just get a statistical edge because without it, you won't perform. This is a performance-based business.
Amazing, amazing to hear that. We have a question here from JD. Bervna's team. If purchasing BPRO only, does it comes with configuration videos, example for use, etc., or would we also need an exclusive Nest Club membership as well to get all the alpha on BPRO? Well, when you purchase the BPRO, you will get access to certain channels on our Discord that Pedro manages. He will be with you all the time, explaining whatever you need about BPRO. Basically, I'm going to throw in the chat at the moment the link to the explanation sheet of the BPRO tools. So yeah, you will be completely 100% covered by any type of doubt that you have.
Yeah, exactly. And also, just any questions that you have, you can always send a message on on the Discord channels for BPRO, and you can send there a message always, and we always answer them.
for sure,
and
for sure.
and at the end of the day, it's not even it's the BPRO is awesome to filter your own trading. Like if you don't have a system, BPRO is like awesome initial idea of a system, and you can test it like we did in this stream pretty easily on an Excel and get it going. Because most people, most of you don't even have a system to follow. You think that you have a system, but you don't. It doesn't work. You don't have it tested. Um, it's just the reality of the business that we are in.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I totally agree on that. And that happened to me because I used to use like only price action tools. And a couple of years ago, I understand that what you just said, like you need to have a statistical edge. You need to understand the numbers behind what you are doing. Because at the end of the day, we're playing a probabilistic game and a statistic game. And so you need to know the numbers. It's not all about looking at charts and say like, okay, I need to go long or I need to go short because uh, a bearish engulfing is happening or a bullish engulfing is happening, right? It's all about confluence, and I think you can find that confluence on on BPRO because you can add a lot of tools to your trading, and you will have that edge that requires you to be a profitable trader at the end of the day by just following some certain rules and be as automatic, if I can call it like that, as possible.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to have everything automatic like on code on an algorithm. That's not the point I'm saying, but you can have it systematized to the you should. It's not that you can, you should know
Yeah,
everything before you take a trade. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's something important to notice there. If you don't have a trading plan, then you're going nowhere basically, because you will be taking emotional trades at any time just because what you think it might happen, and that's not the goal, the end goal of trading, in my opinion, right?
exactly. Exactly. It's just gambling then. If people come here without a statistical edge, you are gambling.
Yeah,
Better to
totally.
just open the casino or something and do it there.
Go play some poker then.
Yeah, exactly. But at least that's
Yeah.
more fun.
Yeah. Pedro,
Yeah.
if you would have an advice for people like if they want to start getting themselves into algorithmic trading, shifting from normal price action tools, what would you say to them?
Yeah. If you want to switch to algorithm trading, automate your systems, even using BPRO and other tools, the first thing that you have to do is to learn to code. That's you can't escape that. So yeah, learn Python. Learn Python is the best way. There's ton of resource out there. It's not that hard. It will take some months. Yes, it will take months. Um, but you can do it, and then start to automate your own system. Start with simple stuff. Start with the scanner. Uh, Start with getting data from my Binance API or other API and tell you, look, there is a trigger here, and send those trigger into your own computer. Start with simple stuff, build simple tools, and then expand and expand. And one day you can already build your own automated system. It takes work. It will take a lot of time, but with consistency, you can do it.
Amazing, amazing advice. Guys, be sure to follow Pedro on Twitter to know more about him, what's her systems, how do he explain things. It's just simply amazing. His level of knowledge about the markets, about how they work, which is extremely important to know as well. I personally don't have nothing to add here. Any else? Do you have anything else that you want to share with our members, Pedro?
Not at all. Just again, like you said very well, find your statistical edge. That's the best, I think, a summary of what we've been talking here.
Amazing, amazing, guys. Pedro, thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone who joined for your time. See you inside the nest, and if you have any question, be sure to reach to us. All right. So, bye bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.